The Jack Straw Cultural Center presents the official release show to celebrate the new poetry chapbook Rookland by Jesse Minkert, published by Finishing Line Press. The event took place on December 2, 2017 at the Jack Straw Cultural Center in Seattle, Washington. Readers were Swartz, Robert P. Kaye, and Jesse Minkert. Each of the readers appears on a separate video.
Welcome to the official release show for Rookland. Thanks go out to my companion readers today, Swartz and Robert P. Kaye. I got helpful consultation on the text of Rookland from Tara Hardy and Anastasia Renee. Also, thanks to the Jack Straw Cultural Center for acting as host to this event and to Finishing Line Press for publishing Rookland. And special thanks go to Joan Rabinowitz for her ongoing support, and to our engineer today, Joel Maddox, in the control room behind you, Jack Straw board member Laurel Circum, and our friend Bonnie Showers will help you purchase books at the book table in the lobby. The event is being recorded. That's what the microphone is for. It's not part of a PA system. My companion readers will be first, and then I will be the last reader. First is Swartz. Swartz makes things out of poetry plus story plus image plus performance plus found audio. Was lucky to meet Mr. Minkert when they were the only two guys in the Artists Trust Edge program in 2012. The chapbook Land of Lists was published by Floating Bridge Press, where it was a finalist in the 2016 competition. Congratulations on that. That is so cool. Their deck of shuffle poems was published by Minor Arcana Press in 2014. Lydia Linney documents where they literally stand each day of the Trump regime at Propaganda Ministry, propagandaministry.tumblr.com. And now, with no further ado, Mr. Swartz.
Thank you. I am so happy to have had the opportunity to read with Jesse, and also to spend so much time deeply within the pages of this book. I have removed probably 20 flags from here since I was working on it. So what I did was I let his style sort of guide me in the pieces I wrote for this reading. It's very different from what I usually write. I mean, what I was thinking about last weekend when I was sitting and listening to The Messiah was that he writes like Handel. He writes like Handel composes, and it's like putting all the voices together is the same way he puts the images together, and they're just perfect and they blend. Mine are not that perfect, but thanks for the inspiration. Okay, this first one, the first five are inspired by Rookland. And this first one's called Vestigial Heirs. Reach in and feel for their skulls as innocent as oranges in the palm of your hand, barnacled on my coccyx, dreaming immaculate songs. No names, no genders, basking in blood and salt, sweet theoretical digits intact. No blame for mommy or anger for daddy's lies. A toothless, handsome pollywog, sleeping lipless, snoreless through apocalypse. My quiet homunculi, my smidgens, my dabs, my shards. None of them who found a heartbeat to cling to. Never a lingering kiss to turn into a need for tuition. Never a swimming lesson or bloody knee. No pills to take the edge off. No guilt. No sweaty reparation. Not one morning regret. No dancing. No favorite color. No rehab. No plagiarism. No last 10 pounds to lose. No cult affiliation. Never showing someone who did not ask to see them their genitals. No jokes to tell or get. Nothing desperate done out of hunger. No pain. No staring too long at the sun. No candles on birthday cake. My fractions, my splinters, my unfinished art, they are safe, they are pure, they are perfect. They need not prove a thing. They are mine forever, and posterity belongs to no one. This one's called How Your Children Give Up. A curvature of spine, a bend, a detour to accommodate ripe and barren belly, all that remains of your everyday goddess. While gods place bets on sleepwalkers' transit of midnight stairs, starlight shorts rations, dwindling feelings down to nameless despair. Dire-faced, drowning in grimy sigils and keywords and fishy fantasy, your children, parentless, fameless, tearless, sleep in doorways, cynical and free. No smiles since their teeth went rotten. No grail except survival. No love, no plan, no map, no grace or rapture, no perfume other than steam from their nostrils in morning chill. Jizo Bazatsu knows how to miss them. No one else notices when they are beyond. This one's called Roostland. Guess where that came from? You never look up. It's what crows rely upon. At dawn, they blacken the sky in thousands, mocking and fainting, foraging northwest from the roost. You never notice. You stumble and fart and betray and fail, love poorly or throw it away for better shoes. There's nothing scrumptious or sublime about you, yet when you fall and begin to rot, when no one comes to bemoan your stinking bones, Brother Crow attends. He sharpens his beak on your iliac crest after letting fledglings pick your flesh away. Crow after crow comes along and relieves you of sights your cold, fixed eyes might see, rids you of gelid blood no good to you anymore. Bellies full, at last you are good for something. They rise, the grateful, squawking vortex, and take you southeast to roost. No one looks up or cries. Retroactive mutiny. It's the door. Her Majesty curses brazen intrusion. She angrily chews her plausible morsel, history-ravaged hand buried deep between her cushiony thighs. The scoundrel knocks and knocks. The doorbell rings. More knocking. This strange audacity stuns our slovenly Duchess. Of course, she is never at home for visitors. All these years, she's been groomed for isolation, for eventual ascension to her tattered leather throne. She did her hours at a desk in a row of desks, a pasty face facing pasty faces and facing rows of desks. Her infinite biddable march, in line to the toilet, queued for the bus, allowing herself to be x-rayed for signs of defiance. Now she floats in perfumed obscurity. Someone dares to knock again. She'll wait until they die, then daintily consume them. The immortal Oceanid denies the sea. The type of Oceanid I am is unwilling to swim when sea runs harsh with malice and wind, when hospitality drains this slim membrane between water and air, when breath is disposable in the penetrating, sharp-faced fog. This type of oceanid will not swim in a sea that changes its mind, that tugs at my tiring scissor-kick ankles, that wraps its kelpy ropes around my neck, its dark ambition the shape of my forehead and stinging eyes. The oceanid I am refuses the glamour of sinking into green strata, blue into gray, then black. Rejects the deep, declines the liquid, says no, will not countenance air and earth and fire draining from my unheard distress, a ribbon, a trail of bubbles, a final loss, a solitary seduction. Succumb I shall not, cold and blind and never colloidal, never give up. Instead, I flee to my dryad sisters, run bloody with maenads, who know that this, after all, is the type of oceanid I am. So we took this trip, this epic road trip, last summer, and I discovered that there are these people who live on the road, literally. They live in a van, or they live in an RV, or a camper, and they don't really have a permanent address, and they work sometimes and sometimes they don't. And it's this whole sort of mobile community, and it fascinates me. And of course I want to do it. They've been written about, and they're always objecting to people who write about them, who make them sound pathetic, and they feel like they're anything but. So this is for them. The nomad is not silent. It's a package, you say, that lies about its contents. The wrist brace doesn't really help. The campground floods and your bicycle seize up with rust. The carbon monoxide monitor chirps in the starless dark. It's cold as glass outside your blanket womb. By the time you get to Arkansas, the job and the people who offered the job are gone. You're halfway up the mountain, rain blowing sideways, a line of honking cars behind your rig, when the sun rainbows a snowy peak to your east. Stark ecstasy, 6,000 feet above sea level. By nightfall, you'll meet up with Don and Meg, who, rosacea-faced and ambling into their second six-pack, will be stapled to their lawn chairs by fat Pomeranians. The liar must be you, they say, and your lies are to save face. The life you want, they whisper, is what we want you to want. You secretly long for the overhead lighting, the going to bed in the same state you woke up in this morning, the two choices only, slaver or slave, the things and stuff and paying extra for storage, the selling your soul for a sliver more of comfort and the privilege of never learning to fix it yourself, the clean, dry hands, the unscuffed shoes, the things you are willing to do to live like this 2 weeks every year. You say you don't miss this. You say you don't want it. You say you wouldn't take it. Look at how the poor thing lies, they say. One part is true. This is not the life you dreamed of. It's better. This is not the locked cage they try to sell you. Your home is as wide as the continent and as long as the road. Every step is naked and unashamed to be cold or to sweat or to sport these proud and noble scars. The language you speak is hurricane, shaking doors, laughing at words and fences. Gods and elements do not wait for mortals to tame them. And finally, for some reason, I've been writing poems about my mother, who I never speak to and never think about, but I guess I do now. Mother, forgive me. I did not understand I was your rival. I did not grasp how easily I won. I did not even pay you the compliment of gloating as if you were not important, as if you were not worth the effort to defeat. Forgive me for not understanding how beautiful you were, and how you struggled with not looking white enough, not Anglo-Protestant gringo enough, not enough like I mostly look, as if I had never passed through your short, dark Jewish body. Forgive me for hating your slavery. I blamed you as author of your own captivity. This you did not deserve. Forgive me for the casual damage I inflicted on your iridescent bubble of safety, thin as it was, fragile, and asking nothing but to be left intact. Forgive me for angrily rejecting weapons you believed I needed for the war you thought I was doomed to fight. Forgive me for carelessly trashing the gift of your youth, the art you surrendered, your name, my name, the sacrifice you expected to pass along. Forgive me for never asking you any questions you were ready to answer. Forgive me for refusing to eat meals you prepared without joy. Forgive my lack of appetite for the gruel of resentment and duty you spat your hopelessness into. Forgive me for failing to be the life-size doll you had drawn, the outline my flesh and singing were to fill. Forgive me for running away again and again in my room at the end of the hall by the front door. Forgive me for crying. Forgive me for bleeding. Forgive me for never letting you bleed on my hands. Forgive me for never seeing how you set yourself on fire at the full moon and howled and nobody heard you. I never heard you. The moon wouldn't even acknowledge your shadow. Forgive me, my mother and every mother, for not becoming the mother I know you needed your child to be.
Many thanks to the Jack Straw Cultural Center, Levi Fuller, Laurel Circum, Darwin Alonso, Bonnie Showers, Blue Sparks, and Joan Rabinowitz. Joel Maddox was the engineer and videographer. This series of videos was produced by Joel Maddox and Jesse Minkert at the Jack Straw Cultural Center. Copies of Rookland may be purchased at finishinglinepress.com or on Amazon. This has been a Jack Straw literary event, made possible by the generous support of the Seattle Office of Arts and Culture, For Culture, the Washington State Arts Commission, the National Endowment for the Arts, and KUOW-FM. I'm Alyssa Keene.